Divine Freaks. For Helena, you are more of an inspiration than you know. Chapter 1. Ratman. People say a lot of stupid things about ghosts. Let's face it, people do say dumb things about stuff they think they know about, but don't. And most people don't actually know the first thing about ghosts. How can I be so sure? Because I know quite a lot about ghosts. I see them all the time. Number one stupid thing people say. They don't really exist, you know. Okay, just because they haven't seen them doesn't mean they're not there. Number two, they do exist, but only in old castles and stuff. Wrong. They're everywhere. On the streets, in supermarkets, in schools, your school probably. I haven't always seen ghosts. The first 13 years of my life were a complete ghost-free zone. Then things changed. Here's how it started. I was in biology class, minding my own business, when all of a sudden this man appeared, about to murder a rat. Not a nasty sewer rat or anything, but a lovely snowy white one. Really cute. Poor thing was totally freaking out, waving its pink paws about and gazing up with red beady eyes in this great shining scalpel blade, about to slit it open. The man, tall and hunched, with a mean gray face, just grinned hard. He was going to enjoy this, or he would have done, if I'd given him half a chance. No, I cried and ran over, sending my stool crashing to the ground. Mr. Wellesley was blocking my way, so I had to shove him aside, which was a bit not okay, really. He fell against the cabinet full of jars of random body parts in formaldehyde. Ratman grinned his sickly grin, all sallow gray skin and yellow teeth, and then I lunged, but he wasn't there anymore. I fell in a heap on the floor. He disappeared along with the rat. Poof, just like that, gone. What in the name of? Began Mr. Wellesley as he adjusted his glasses, his tie, his hair. The cabinet had survived. Just the whole class was staring at me. I wanted to stop him, that man. What man? Stifled giggles around the class. And I was thinking, what the hell's so funny about a creepy stranger suddenly appearing, wielding a scalpel? But Mr. Wellesley hadn't seen him, and neither, it seemed, had anyone else. They thought I was just mucking about, which, to be honest, we've been known to do when things have got really dull. There was a man, I explained, getting up. He was just here. I gazed around. Nothing. I blinked, rubbed my eyes. Then all of a sudden he appeared again, this time in the corner of the room, by the door. There he is, over there, I yelled. Everyone turned to look. He wasn't holding the rat this time. He just stood there, like he was ready to fend off an attacker or something. His vampire face was hard and violent now. The grin was gone. He held up his sharp right hand, and it glinted something shiny and sharp. The scalpel. I froze, just staring at him. I couldn't believe my eyes. More giggles from the class. No, I'm not kidding this time, I wanted to say, but I was dumbstruck. How was it that only I could see him? How was it that only I could see him? There he was, clear as day, big, ugly, and poised. Apparently, for something a whole lot worse than rat killing. Was I going crazy? Kitty Slade, I've had quite enough of you and your idiotic fantasies, barked Mr. Wellesley, and I will not have you disrupt my class. Now go back to your seat. But he's right there. Oh no. Ratman was coming towards me now. I turned and dived behind Mr. Wellesley, clutching his jacket. Still, Ratman came forward, staring wildly at someone or something that I couldn't see, knife at the ready. I squealed and threw myself on the floor, pulling Mr. Wellesley down with me. This time, his glasses fell right off, and his hair nearly did too. I shuffled over to his desk and hid under it, as the crazed man lurched wildly around, stabbing the air with his scalpel. "Everyone, hide!" I yelled. They didn't, of course. They only laughed louder. Kitty was on the stellar form. They were loving it, especially since this was one of Mr. Wellesley's lessons, which are typically boring that you gradually merge with the furniture. You can't even feel sorry for him, 'cause he's a mean old grouch too. Normally, I'd have loved an uproar like this. Not this time. Still, Mr. Wellesley wasn't having any of it. I was just mucking around about as usual. As far as he was concerned, I huddled there in my cubby hole under the desk, my head in a spin. You know that thing your eyes do when you go from brightness into darkness, the way those shapes like negative images and firecracker lights appear in front of you? That was happening too. Then I realized the actual wood of the desk was changing shape. Something luminous was pressing forward from the flat surface. Ratman's face. I didn't scream. I was transfixed. It was just his face, nothing else. And this time, the gleaming, red-rimmed eyes were staring straight at me, like he was trying to tell me something. His mouth was moving, but no sound was coming out. "What's that?" I asked. But still the mouth moved soundlessly. "Who are you?" I tried again, though don't ask me why. It was obvious he couldn't make himself heard. And then the face shriveled back, flattening out until it disappeared completely. Meanwhile, some of my friends seemed to have figured out why that I was not mucking about. This was for real. Ella and Dennis came over. "Kitty?" said Ella. "It's all right. There's nothing there." I peeped out. Ratman hadn't reappeared anywhere else in the room. I sighed and got out from under the desk. Mr. Wellesley, brushing himself down for a second time, was not in the least bit sympathetic. See, mean old grouch. In fact, he looked as if he was about to explode. "You two," he spluttered, jabbing a finger in my friend's directions. "Back to your seat." "But Mr. Wellesley, and you." Now the finger was pointed to me. "To the head teacher's office, now." A strange, hot sensation flooded over me. "But you don't understand, sir. I said now." Fear had me trembling still. Now rage was making it worse. "Why won't you let me explain?" Mr. Wellesley's lips were thin and tight. "Out!" For a moment, I just stood glaring at him. Couldn't he see how shaken up I was? Didn't he have a milligram of sympathy in the podgy little frame of his? No, apparently not. "Okay," I said at last. "You know what? I am going out. I returned to my place at the bench, collecting my jacket and backpack, and stomped out. That's it. I'm out of here. End of chapter 1.